For centuries, maybe even millennia, garlic was the undisputed champion of natural medicine. It was even given to the builders of the Egyptian pyramids to keep them strong, prescribed by Hippocrates himself, and used in just about every ancient culture as a first line of defense against, well, everything. It was, for all intents and purposes, a little miracle in a clove. But what if I told you that in the quiet, methodical world of modern science, garlic's reputation has been seriously questioned? What if the very remedy our ancestors swore by has a surprising twist in its story? Stick with me, because not only are we going to uncover the real reason garlic's crown slipped, but I'm also going to reveal the incredibly common cooking mistake that's probably making the garlic in your kitchen almost useless for your immune system. To understand what changed, you first have to appreciate just how deep garlic's roots go in the history of health. We're talking about a plant with a resume that stretches back over 5,000 years. In ancient China and India, it was a cornerstone of traditional medicine, used to fight infections and treat everything from heart conditions to arthritis. Roman soldiers were given it for strength, and it was even used during world wars to help prevent infections in wounds. This wasn't just dusty old folklore, it was real, lived experience. For generations, if you felt a sniffle coming on, the first thing your grandmother would tell you was to eat some garlic. It was the go-to remedy, the trusted natural antibiotic that lived in everyone's pantry. It was seen as powerful, pungent, and almost magical. It seemed untouchable. So, what happened? The shift in garlic's reputation wasn't some dramatic event. There was no sudden discovery of a hidden danger. Instead, it was a slow, quiet change driven by one of the most powerful forces in our world, the scientific method. See, as medicine evolved, personal stories and traditions weren't enough. Scientists wanted cold, hard proof. They wanted large-scale, placebo-controlled trials, the gold standard of medical evidence. And when they turned this powerful lens on garlic, the results were complicated. Here's the heart of the issue. For a remedy to be officially recommended by health organizations, it needs strong, consistent evidence. When researchers looked for this with garlic in the common cold, they found some incredibly promising signs. One famous study gave 146 people either a garlic supplement or a placebo for 3 months. The results were pretty stunning. The garlic group had a 63% lower risk of catching a cold. This seemed like the slam dunk proof everyone was waiting for. But here's the twist. When other researchers, specifically the highly respected Cochrane collaboration, reviewed all of the available evidence, they came to a different conclusion. They found that while that one study was promising, it was still just a single, small trial. They pointed out that many claims about garlic were based on this one study or other evidence that wasn't considered high quality. They essentially said, the jury is still out. There just isn't enough solid clinical proof to say for sure that garlic can prevent or treat the common cold. This sent ripples through the health community. The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health in the US now states there isn't enough research to back up using garlic for the common cold. So garlic wasn't removed or banned from natural medicine. Instead, its official status was challenged in the eyes of rigorous science. It went from being seen as a proven remedy to possibly effective, but we need more research. This scientific skepticism is the real reason its reputation as a top-tier remedy changed. Remember too, groups like this don't really want you to use natural remedies, because if you do, well, then you are simply not buying their over-the-counter stuff. And Big Pharma does not like competition. They want your money. But the story doesn't end there, because what scientists also discovered is that even if garlic does work, most of us are accidentally destroying its power before it ever hits our plate. To understand the mistake we're all making, we need to meet the secret agent inside the garlic clove, responsible for all its power, a compound called allicin. Now here's the fascinating part. A whole, untouched garlic clove has almost zero allicin in it. Allicin isn't just sitting there, it has to be manufactured on the spot. Think of it like a two-part epoxy. Inside the garlic cells, you have a compound called allicin, and an enzyme called allinase. They're kept in separate little compartments, completely isolated from each other. The magic happens when you crush, chop, slice, or chew the garlic. You break down those cell walls, and for the first time, the allin and the allinase can finally meet. A rapid chemical reaction kicks off, and in less than a minute, they combine to create the potent sulfurous compound we know as allicin. This is what gives garlic its famous pungent smell and its powerful antibacterial and antiviral properties. Allicin is the star of the show. It's the very compound believed to fire up our white blood cells to fight off viruses. But allicin has a fatal weakness. It is incredibly fragile and sensitive to one thing that is central to almost all of our cooking: heat. And that brings us to the single biggest mistake that so many of us make every day in the kitchen: the mistake that neutralizes garlic's immune-boosting benefits. What is it? It's chopping or mincing your garlic and throwing it straight into a hot pan. When you do that, the intense heat hits the garlic almost instantly. Heat destroys the allinase enzyme, and if that enzyme is wiped out before it has a chance to mix with the allin, then allicin is never created. It doesn't matter if you use 2 cloves or 10. If you cook it too fast, you get all of the flavor, but you might be getting almost none of the health benefits. Studies have shown that as little as 60 seconds of high heat can stop the formation of its most powerful compounds. So how do you fix this? How do you get the full power out of your garlic? The solution is incredibly simple, and it's called the 10-minute rule. It's this: after you chop, mince, or crush your garlic, let it sit on the cutting board for 10 minutes before you cook it. That 10-minute rest gives the allinase enzyme time to do its job and create the maximum amount of health-boosting allicin. Once that allicin is formed, it's much more resilient to heat, meaning more of its benefits will survive the cooking process. So, crush first, wait 10 minutes, then cook. It's that easy. For an even bigger boost, try adding your prepped garlic toward the end of your cooking time instead of the beginning. And for the most potent effect of all, use it raw. Crushing a clove and mixing it into a salad dressing or a dip ensures you get 100% of its power. While we're here, let's quickly bust a common myth. You might have heard that giving garlic to your pets can help with fleas. This isn't just unproven, it's true within reason. Garlic contains compounds that are toxic to both dogs and cats and can cause serious health problems. It's like chocolate. We hear that all the time, but if a dog eats a piece of your bar, that is not a reason to send them to the vet. But if he eats the entire Halloween stash your kids brought home, okay, we have a different situation. It comes down to moderation. Scientific studies have found it takes approximately 15 to 30 grams of garlic per kilogram of body weight to produce harmful changes in a dog's blood. To put that into perspective, the average clove of supermarket garlic weighs between 3 and 7 grams, so your dog would have to eat a lot to get really sick. It's also worth knowing that while garlic is safe for most people, it does have blood-thinning properties. If you're on blood-thinning medication or you have surgery coming up, you should talk to your doctor before you start eating a lot more garlic. If you learned something new about the incredible science of garlic today, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And I'm curious, let me know in the comments below. Did you know about the 10-minute rule, or have you been tossing your garlic straight into the pan? Be honest. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. So garlic's legendary status wasn't torn down by some big conspiracy. It was simply challenged by the high standards of modern science, which found the existing evidence promising but not quite definitive. But that same science also gave us the key to its potential power, a compound called allicin. And the most important thing to remember is that we have to be the ones to create it. The power isn't just in the clove, it's in the crush. By simply crushing your garlic and letting it rest for 10 minutes before you cook, you can help preserve its potent immune-supporting properties. Garlic may not be the cure-all that ancient legends claimed, but when you use it right, it's still a powerful, delicious, and scientifically fascinating friend to your health. As always, this video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always check with your physician or another qualified health provider if you have questions about a medical condition.